Hello, 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 everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome back to the Banterous Hour with the guest of the hour, old friend of the podcast, Professor Goatee Awards, aka Professor Goat, aka Caleb.
Hello, I am a sphere today.
Yeah, Goat's camera will be off for this stream for reasons, but it is what it is, man. You know,
Next time will be much more impressive. I will promise you that.
yeah, it will be worth the wait. But I will get a few old Club Brick clips so you can see Mr. Professor Goat in the flesh on some of these old Club Brick things.
Oh, wonderful.
The first topic that I wanted to bring up, though, talking of Club Brick, where here we go. Got it up now. So, do you miss the Club Brick days, the streams, the community aspect of Club Brick, etc.?
To some degree. It's being able to see people's creations, especially, was really fun.
Yeah.
Like there were genuinely talented people, and what was also great was seeing people actually get better and actually uh, either on their own or taking advice and making better and better things, or some people making things specifically to get under my skin. That was fun too, for them. But I definitely miss that. I miss some of the essays. But obviously, like the YouTube landscape, there's a lot more Lego fan media out there now. And I don't have a passion for just being another voice when other people have said what I would have said, and they've said it twice as good as I have, and they would have done it with a much better production value. So I'm not going to compete if I'm just making content for content's sake.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there is the aspect of you could get a bit experimental with what you type, or just write a solid script and think, you know what, maybe a lot of other people have said this, but I might be able to add my own pepper to the pot. Like I know a few people, one of my mates, Liam, and myself, when I've thought to myself, man, I'm doing a review of bloody Red Dead 2. Well, what is there that hasn't been said? And you know what? I don't know if you watched it, but for a lot of that review, I felt like I said a lot of unique things compared to other people. I felt like, damn, I'm cooking here with this. But then when it came to the characters, like Arthur Morgan, John Marston, Dutch Van Dalen, I thought, damn, everyone's already said all this stuff. I can't think of anything new.
Yeah. Like I've seen a couple reviews as well, including yours. But like, if you're giving people a basic overview, you're gonna retread. It's inevitable. So
Yeah.
like, you can't fault yourself too much there.
Yeah. But like I say, I was glad with what I did with the talking about the gameplay and the story, but then talking about the characters, I just thought, like, man, there's not a lot to say that hasn't already been said, but it is what it is. But like my mate as well, Liam, he did a Lego Star Wars, a video game review, and I thought, bloody hell, everyone's already talked about this with, the original Lego Star Wars, the video game, and talking about the first three chapters of, Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, the complete saga, because that's obviously episode 1 to 3. So I thought, how's he going to do this? And he added a fair bit to the pot, to be honest. I won't lie, he did a good job. If I could send you his video later, I thought he did a good job. But he has played the game an awful lot, so fair play that he added a bit to the pot. But I do get where you're coming from as well, because especially when you're making type of stuff that you're making, like those old Lego analysis videos that you made, they took so much effort and so much time, and you probably had to cook up a decent script. And then when you see so many other people doing it, you think, what on earth can I say? And also, our time is like quite valuable. And I know with your job, you have to put a lot of time as well. And in general, like being an adult person in your 20s, like unless you're at college or whatever, or university in the UK, you don't, or even like, high school for you Americans or whatever, or like say secondary school for us, whatever you're doing, if you're working a full-time job, you're an adult, you don't have the free time to just sit back and make content. Some people might reserve a few months for it, or maybe they say, you know what, I'm going to have 6 months off and just graft at YouTube, see what I can do. I'll work part-time.
Yeah, you gotta treat it like a job if you want to do that. But yeah, I agree with you there.
And I was going to say, I did like what you were saying though about the about people's creations. I did, although at the time I was a bit salty. I did find it quite funny when you were like, James, this mock is awful. You completely bloody botched this. That it's just a flat wall. What's going on? Then John was like, well, the Patrick Star has like blood around his mouth and he's eating someone, so it adds more gruesome context. I found that quite funny. But
Yeah.
I did really enjoyed the character you played on Club Brick. You know, and to be honest, you were right, bro. The mocks weren't very good. It was just a flat wall. But I did enjoy sort of like the weird story that I made out of it. And unless I was making videos on Club Brick, I was mostly just messing around for the giggles, you know, just to mess about and have a bit of a laugh. And obviously some people love that, but other people thought like, who is this sack pack guy? What is he doing? You know, giving the UK a bad name. But other people found it hilarious, so you know it's one of them things.
A bit of banter and playful antagonism.
Yeah,
there's very often a place for that. So
certainly, I mean, it'd be boring if we were all if in a YouTube group of people we were all the same. You know, I know that's a generic thing that a lot of people say. It's boring if we're all the same, but I feel like for like Rooster Teeth, if every person was like Ray or Bernie Burns or Gus, then you'd be like, well, this is boring.
Yeah, you want some conflicting personalities to play off each other.
Exactly, man.
Play up their own eccentricities for entertainment.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I mean, if I was to do it now, I think I'd be a lot more sensible. I'd probably still have a bit of a laugh, but I don't think I'd be like bloody, I don't know, spamming silliness. Although I laugh about it, I just don't think I'd do that nowadays. Like I was 21 back then, now I'm 25, nearly 26. I don't think I would be spamming like stupid pictures of people's bellies or like bloody lady wrestlers in bikinis or bloody Rikishi's bum on the screen. As much as I laugh about it, it's like I wouldn't do that stuff anymore. I might, if I was in a mad mood, I might spam something, but like I don't know, like maybe like just a picture of a blown up car or a Lego brick. It wouldn't be something too mad like I used to. But I couldn't believe how much I used to laugh at that stuff, man. But like I say, if you don't do anything daft when you're young, you're not going to have anything to laugh about when you're old.
Yeah, it's good to figure out your sense of humor and boundaries. But like, yeah, I do miss the character on the streams, but it was a lot of time to commit and a lot of mental. It takes a lot of focus just to get like to make sure you go through everyone's message, and doing that after a full day of work isn't necessarily the best way to relax, but I do miss it.
You know. I mean, now it wouldn't even work now because my family have to go to bed a lot earlier. But
oh yeah,
you know, I used to stay up and like do it. When did this start? Did it start? Was it 11:15 for UK time or 11 o'clock when the mock hour used to start? I can't remember.
What time is it there now? It's about 9.
Yeah, 8:45.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we did start pretty late UK time. I did some of the sorting streams a little bit earlier.
Those I remember joining some of them. Yeah, they were a good laugh.
There's a very small chance once the new lab is up to code, might do some more streams, but I'm not sure.
Would it be on your own channel or Club Brick, do you reckon?
Probably my own channel. But it's a matter of, can I do it without it taking up too much energy? Like,
streaming does take up a bit of energy, and it feels like a bag of arse when you've got like no one commenting. But okay, obviously for podcasts like this, you know, me and you were talking to each other. But if it was just me on my own trying to come up with conversations, like I'd be like, bloody hell, I don't know what to say. Who am I talking to? I'm just talking to the camera. What do I talk about? Just, I guess, random things that happened in my day. But obviously there are so many people. If you click a random game on Twitch and you go on their Twitch streams and there's no one talking in the chat and you think, bloody hell, there's just nothing going on. Like, what are they going to talk about, this person? You know.
That wasn't me. Yeah. There is a creature on my desk who is biting my pieces.
Oh, cool. Is it a sausage dog or a Springer Spaniel or?
It's a cat.
Oh, it's a cat. Fair enough, man.
Hmm.
I was 100. Good old Puss in Boots. Um,
I'm sure she'll try and be on camera if we ever do this again.
yeah, looking
Yep.
forward to it.
She's a diva.
Next question then. What is the latest? So, what was the last Lego set you bought?
Lego set that I bought. That is a tricky question. I did get 1 or 2 items for Christmas.
Yeah.
The last thing I think I bought that was Lego was I also usually buy like Lego lots. So Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, someone will sell $100 bucket. I will clear them out. I'll sell the minifigures on Bricklink, and I'll make all my money back. And that's frankly where something like 30 to 50% of my Lego collection has come from. Just buying used junk and sorting it. But the last set, I got a box of Pick-a-Brick last month for myself.
I don't know.
From the Lego store. I'm not actually certain the last time I bought like a full-on set just for myself. I have to.
Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. I've never done this myself before, but yeah, fair play. Some of my friends have done this where you pick a brick.
Yeah. My collection is big enough now where I look at a set and unless it is like full of really neat novelty pieces, you see that value and say, okay, I have literally millions of pieces in my collection. Is it really worth $30 to have 90% of those parts that I already have go in a bucket?
Brilliant point.
And like if it's so it makes logistically, unless it's I'm after something specific or want to enjoy the building experience or have a model on display, which is very rare. I'll move on to something in a second. That's really funny. But if it's just getting a set for where I am in my Lego collecting zone, I'm mostly after parts at this point.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Especially if your incentive for having Lego is to build interesting, intricate sets.
What is funny is I'm not sure if it's officially announced yet or it's just the leaks right now, but there is a okay, there it is. Officially revealed, upscaled. I'll share this in the studio chat. They revealed a upscaled Blue Astronaut minifigure, which is it's something that I posted to Lego Ideas like 2 years ago. But this was like an obvious choice, so I don't think it's like a case of Lego copying me, because if they did, it would look better.
Yeah.
I'm joking, of course. Let me see if I can pull it up. There it is. Got it. I'll share this in the chat. But like that's a decent set. But that is the version that I made myself that I shared. When was this?
Well, Lego Professor Goatee Awards is coming for you in the courtroom.
Yeah, like this. Like I posted that 3 years ago or something, and I am a little bit disappointed that the helmet in the official set is 10 wide rather than 9, which is more accurate. But I understand why they made the compromises they did.
Something that I find quite extraordinary with Lego Ideas. If you remember Gampat, who did Gampat the Gore, who did the Asterix the Gore?
Yes.
He got to 10K twice.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a remarkable achievement. Yet, even though he got 10K twice, his idea still didn't get put through.
Yeah, but you have to realize that now there's dozens of sets going to 100K, and getting especially if this is going to be a set that's going to be selling for $100 to $200 in a lot of these ideas situations. Comparing, okay, we have this one that we have the marketing data that says we know we can sell, say, 1 to 300,000 units, compared to this more maybe regional specific property that we're going to have to price pretty high because we're not expecting to sell a lot. Does it make sense to make a production run of 50,000 of those, possibly having to put them on sale because we're not confident in the market? Does it make sense to do that, or to go with the safe option, or go with a safe option that we feel that our marketing team is more comfortable with? So it's always a balancing act with something like ideas, and unfortunately, it's become probably a little bit too much of a system. It doesn't feel like there's quite as much experimentation there, even though the sets that they produce are still very high quality and well designed.
Most definitely. I suppose, yeah, like you say, if someone's made a random, I don't know, like was the Back to the Future one a Lego idea set originally?
Yeah, that was one of the first 5 or 10 that they did.
I guess you got to think, can we play on people's nostalgia? Maybe.
Mm.
Will it make money though? Because we're not going to do any more of these Back to the Future sets.
We also have to. Another factor is that the ideas sets have had a scale bloat. A lot of the earlier sets were like sub $100. Now, if you see an idea set that's like 50 or 60 or $70, that is on the cheaper end of an idea set, rather than like Minecraft was 35 at the time. So was the exosuit, and yeah.
I wonder what the split is like with the person who designs a set in Lego. I'm guessing, like, what do they get, like?
It was 1% of the revenue, which is a pretty decent chunk of the profits, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty, considering it's Lego who's pumping everything out, and they've took your idea, yes, but you put it on their website and they've done all the work and pumped it all out and sold it and put it in all their stores. 1% is pretty good.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. But yeah,
as long as it does well, and and obviously they're charging a bomb for it anyway. They're going to charge like hundreds of pounds for it or hundreds of dollars for it anyway. So
there's also the fact that there's going to end up being a ton of overlap. So if there's like this really obvious idea, like someone wants to do some licensed property, what I'm trying to think of a good recent one. What are some sets that have come out recently? Okay, well, I can't think of any in specific, but if there's going to be hundreds of people coming up with concepts for any major licensed thing, and so if Lego decides to go down a licensed path for something, sometimes they're just going to do it themselves, and just because of convergent evolution, certain concepts are going to start looking the same. So, like, there's been people who have complained about sets looking like their idea's proposal, and sometimes they might have an argument. Other times, it's frankly just a case of convergent evolution, that's the obvious thing to do for a set at this price point.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Yeah, I agree with what you said, bro. Can't think of much else to add to that one. Well, we discussed this beforehand, but the question that before the podcast started, but the question I wrote down is: have you got any videos cooking? I know you mentioned a video before. do you want to say what it is, or would you rather save it for when it comes out? Or
There will be one more video on Club Rick in the next year, essentially going over my plans for the future. But I'm focused on bigger things, and it's taking a long time just to make a little bit of progress. But once it pays off, I'm hoping once I get the system in place, I'm hoping it can be pumped out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Talking of another thing about Club Brick, I've realised, because I've been part of 2 group channels. Group channels are really difficult to make work, especially in the long term, man. Like, because you just got so many different people bouncing off each other and wanting the channel to go in different directions. So, like, I remember, there was this one set that came out in Europe a lot quicker than it came out in America, and I thought, I could review this one, but obviously then I was told, nah, don't review that. And I was like, well, we could get views. But then I think, looking back on it, I shouldn't be that bothered about views. They're not important. You got to just be in it to, like, make creative stuff.
Well, it depends on your mindset going into it.
And then there was another thing as well where, what was it? I put a stream on, and then I was advised about how, your live streams are all right, but we lose a couple subs every time you do. It was a brick flick on Club Brick, and I kind of get that, but like I don't know. But then I remember, like, I was like, all right, if the channel ever does amazing, what will we get? And then one person was like, well, we could all get tickets to, like, Legoland Orlando, and it's like, well, what if the channel's doing really good and, like, it's like Rooster Teeth? I know it would never get to Rooster Teeth level because there's no group Lego channel that is at Rooster Teeth level. And Rooster Teeth is obviously a gaming channel. But, like, I don't know, it feels like there's a lot, and I'm not criticising the person or people that made any of those previous decisions. I'm just saying, like, I had different ideas for what I would have wanted to do. But to be honest, I feel like it's always best to sort of just make your own content, because group channels don't work the best. And there was a group channel I was in before Club Brick where my mate hyped it up a load, and I'm not poo-pooing my mate or having a go at him. We hyped it up a load, and he got a few people on board. Me and my mate were making videos, and but then the geese that I was making videos for was complaining about my videos behind my back, which annoyed me. I wish he would have just sort of said to me, like, couldn't you make this instead, or could I show you how to edit a bit better or whatever? But instead just complained at the time. And this was 2019. We're all different people now. And then the other people who were involved in this group channel just weren't bothered. They just didn't do anything, which is fine. But then they, don't agree to be a part of it in the first place. So I don't know. I think they were just good learning curves, man. I feel like now I'm in a good position where I just obviously I'm a bit gutted when I put, like, loads of effort into a channel, and then a video, and then it gets nowhere. But at the same time, man, you only live once. You just got to make what you enjoy. You can't take these views with you into the next life. You can't take, possessions and money with you. So there's no point in getting wound up about views. At the end of the day, there's a lot of YouTubers out there, but is sitting in your room all the time editing, like, fulfilling and brilliant. It might make you feel a bit comfortable, and you don't always have to get up early like everyone else, and you don't have to deal with, like, the issues and stresses of work, like meeting figures or whatever. And you
just have to worry if YouTube revenue actually comes in. It's going to be enough to pay rent.
That is a good point, actually. I never thought of that, and I wasn't going to mention that. You do have to think, if you're, because although, yeah, that is a good point, because that's actually made me just realise. You think of, like, in 2009, Boogie 2988, for example, the really big overweight YouTuber.
I've seen his crash outs more recently.
Have you on Lolcow Live? It's like, if you looked at his videos in 2009, look at the views that he was getting, he seemed pretty ahead of the game. Like, he was good at articulating himself. He was just good at talking about general stuff, and he seemed like a cool bloke. And obviously, there's some people out there who say, "Oh, I knew it was fake all along," and all that stuff. But, like, you can make that argument for anyone, I suppose. Then, obviously, bloody, his videos are doing terrible for views, and you think they've had the taste of that YouTuber lifestyle, and now they're either gonna have to work a normal job again, or they're going to try and tough it out with YouTube and bloody think, damn, am I going to be able to pay rent this month or buy much food? Like, what's going to happen? So you never think about that, because all we see are the most popular people, because that's what comes up on the trending pages and that's what the algorithm pushes. We don't see the old YouTubers from years ago who may or may not be doing well anymore, because that's not what gets pushed all the time, unless you're like a fan of that person and you look into that person. Yeah. Sean has put, hello there, Sean. Thank you so much for joining, bro. How are you doing?
Oh, I thought we were live. I forgot that we were live on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, I never record the podcasts. I just like to live stream them, and then
I have no preference. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I probably should actually pre-warn guests. To be honest, it's always live, because it isn't. If you accidentally say something mad, and then which I'm sure you wouldn't do, but if you said something crazy, it's like,
you're right. I might say frick or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's like,
or darn.
I'm not trying to out myself or anything, but some of these bloody podcasts, bro, my co-host GC, not my co-host Liam, but George, he bloody says a load of daft stuff, man. He says bloody, and he said stuff where I say to him, bro, this happened in school as well, but all of us in the friend group were, okay, not all of us, but it felt like we were picking up a lot of pieces for him in the nicest way possible. And I even said to him, bro, the more silly stuff that you say, the more daft, ridiculous stuff you say, because I'm the host, I'm the main man in charge of the podcast, I'm going to have to pick up pieces. And it actually did happen recently. I've mentioned it on the podcast before. I'll tell you about it after we finish. Actually, I can tell you about it now. Basically, there's this YouTuber, Sean put, doing good, thanks. That's good, man. There's this YouTuber in this community called the Callum's Corner community who this bloke did a deep dive on him, and we were reacting to his video. And he plays Roblox, and Roblox, an adult playing Roblox, it's a little bit, why you playing an adult? It's a little bit like, did you not have a childhood, or are you a malicious bad person? You know what I'm saying?
Like, if you're playing Roblox as an adult, I would hope, I assume most people who do it ironically, because it's the baby game, basically.
Yeah, like as a joke.
If you're playing that game unironically past 16, it's odd.
Yeah, but each to their own at the end of the day. But it is a little bit strange, because, like, I don't know why. Well, they've changed it now, because I watched the Ackman's video on it where it's adults play with adults, kids play with kids. It's not like adults and kids play together. But the fact that adults could play with like six-year-old people on a server, it's like, what on earth is going on? Why aren't there proper regulations on here? What's happening there?
The most tricky part is like the role play games, obviously.
Yeah.
Like if it's just some adventure game and the text chat is limited, there's not an immediate danger there. But like the role play games, especially ones that lean into especially ones that aren't purely adventure, tend to inevitably have some element of, even if it's not romance centric, there'll be someone who is obsessed with romance in the group, and that will ruin it for everyone else.
Scary, man, scary. But with this geezer that played the Roblox, right? I said it's a bit strange, and then my co-host says he's like P Diddy, and I was like, come on, mate, that you can't be putting wild accusations out there. He said, you never know, he could rub himself in baby oil, and I was like, and then basically straight after, I get reported, like someone in the corner reported me to him, accusing me of calling him like a bloody nonce. And I was like, bro, I never said this. I did call him a scammer a load of times, but that's because the video I watched suggested that he was, heavily suggested it, and it seemed like the evidence was against him. But me and this bloke Jersey are cool now. We've talked it out over Discord. But my point is, like, my co-host said something daft, and I'm the one picking up the pieces for it. I'm the one who's being interrogated and questioned about it,
Yeah, and like a lot of these things are things that if you're just having bants in some more private space where you both know that you're not taking this super seriously.
Yeah.
And then there's this external force who's like not doesn't understand your humor, even if it is about them. Like he'd understandably be a bit upset about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's something you're not necessarily a good idea just to bring up on some random live stream.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if someone said that in a private group and no one else is around, yeah, I might laugh
Well, it's a bit
just
of
a
fun
little
and
bit
private
for
banter.
how crass it is.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun and private banter. That's all it is. But obviously, and the thing is, whenever he says stuff that is really he should not say on the podcast, I say to him, it's all well and good acting this edgy, bro, but on your own channel, you would never say anything like this. You just do it on this channel to really have me pick up the pieces,
Hmm.
you know. And Matt, I don't think he's doing it completely maliciously. I think he's just trying to wind me and the other co-host up. To be honest, he's just trying to get a reaction out of us. But it is what it is. I guess
that's probably part of the fun.
Yeah, that's what makes a Banterous Hour a good laugh. He hasn't said anything that would like bloody. I mean, if he said anything next level outrageous, I'd have to say you kicked off for like this episode. I'm not dealing with this. Next question, then, boss man. Favorite games consoles?
Games consoles. The PS3 is still playing movies, so
Hey.
that one's pretty good. At some point, I'll probably get an emulator. I don't know. The original Switch is as scummy as Nintendo is. It has a lot of. They've added a lot of their backlog to it. It has a bunch of really good games on it. For like a casual consumer, the Switch is phenomenal. For like just casual consumers, the Switch is really good. If you ignore all of Nintendo's predatory pricing and stuff. In terms of aesthetics, I my favorite will always be the GameCube, just because to some extent it's the familiarity, and it's just a colorful box. That's I like that.
Yeah, I'll rate those takes there, man. Fair play. Never played the GameCube myself, unfortunately.
It was outdated hardware by the time it came out, but the Nintendo knows how to optimize games for its hardware, and that's where they've always excelled.
Yeah, true. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so successful with the DS, the Switch, the Wii.
Yeah, they're the DS and the Game Boy. That was the one highlight of going out when I was younger. I got unlimited time on the Game Boy.
Fair play. But yeah, I guess design-wise, yeah, it does look pretty unique. Like, obviously, all the PlayStations, just apart from the PS1, they all look fairly similar. Oh, actually, no, the PS5 stands out a bit. PS2, 3, and 4 look kind of similar.
Yeah, there's been a certain amount of generic futuristic that the consoles have gone for. I guess like it feels like the devices have gotten to a point where the container is I don't know. I always liked that form follows function with Nintendo, while the other devices are a little bit more of a specific vibe that it goes for.
Yeah, that's fair. I think something cool about Nintendo, yeah, is that, you know, as much as, like, let's say the PlayStation, for example, as much as they're very successful, and for gaming and power, you know, they're probably the best overall. And backwards compatibility, bro. I mean, all you need is one of those original PS3s that plays PS1, 2, and 3 games.
Yeah.
Get yourself a PS5 that can play PS4 and 5 games. You're basically laughing when it comes to being able to play all sorts of games. But all I'll say is I do enjoy how the Nintendo as a company, as much as, like you say, they overcharge, it's pretty cool how they've got so many different consoles, and they're quite experimental with their stuff, like, you know, the the 64, the DS, the Switch, the Wii.
Yeah.
It feels like they've tried a lot of different things. Well, PlayStation and Xbox, they've just done the same thing over and over. And for PlayStation, it's worked, and for Xbox, they have obviously been fighting an uphill battle with competing against PlayStation's exclusives. But at the same time, they've shot themselves in the foot like loads, man. Microsoft have. They're just so much so that they're going to make a PC console hybrid, which I think will be the end of Xbox consoles for Microsoft, man. I think that's going to do terrible, to be honest with you.
We'll see what happens. It's part of it is just the technology has matured, and the time of like radical experimentation with these consoles is going to just gradually become a lot more restrained.
Yeah.
So like it's possible with consoles. I don't know what the future of consoles are, but like it's simple. Just there's a certain amount of convergence that's happened as the tech has matured. Everyone's using Unreal Engine for their games or some other format. So everyone is trying to create a systemic pipeline, and it's matured to a point where experimentation, especially radical experimentation, isn't always necessary or even a good idea.
Yeah. You make a good point there. I suppose gaming when it was young, like in the 70s, there's a lot of different innovative things. Even in the 2D space, there's probably a lot of innovative, cool things. You know, you go from like Pong to Tetris to Pac-Man to Mario Bros to Sonic, and then you go to the 3D space in like the, with Mario 64, Crash Bandicoot. You had like hybrid 3D, like, with Wolfenstein and Doom and all that stuff.
People,
or whatever the term for that is, where it looks 2D, but you're walking around like it's 3D.
Yeah, and they were like genuinely pioneering the hardware of what the hardware was capable of. But those hardware limitations, they still exist, but they're so high that you can do basically anything you want.
Yeah.
With it, like the limiting principle is mostly gone. Now it's mostly just about coming up with a system to that's most monetizable to appease the shareholders.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's quite sad. And they're trying to rely on AI to make games as well, to lay off thousands of staff. Microsoft are, well, they laid off thousands of staff to get AI in. And it's like, well, the AI, like, you're not going to create a video game, how intricate a video game is, you're not going to get a good result from a bloody AI at all, ever. So,
well,
not ever, but
there might be a place for it, but it's like the generic coding or debugging. Yeah. AI might have a place for that, of like very systemic tasks or identifying things. AI is very good for like picking out patterns and stuff like that. But if you're like putting the creative stuff, especially, and delegating that to the AI, that's when things are really have the greatest potential to go off the rails. There's also the issue of like of standardization, where the higher ups expect a certain amount of product that even the human labor starts to look have a certain mechanized feel. Because you have to meet these specific design criteria because this meets what the focus group wants, and it makes the most people happy, which is what the AI, which is essentially the branching tree path that an AI will go down. It's just using humans to do that. I'd still vastly prefer humans over some machine in any creative work. But that is a risk when you're in some like bureaucratic creative industry. There's always that risk.
They're always going to go for the easiest option, aren't they? They're always going to go for the thing that makes them the most money, the quickest, in the easiest way. But in the long run, it just shoots them in the foot, doesn't it? They're not going to make the most money.
sometimes there is a place for it because like you do have to consider like the base product, and these products are keeping everyone employed. So those economic arguments are a valid consideration. The higher up the scale that you go, the more constraints you accrue. That's where it starts getting most likely to backfire.
Yeah. I was going to say one last thing about with innovation within the game industry. It feels like ever since Red Dead 2, there's just been no more innovation. It just feels like it's just the same type of stuff. Red Dead 2 is aged like fine wine, but everything else is just like, I mean, I don't know. I guess you got cool stuff out there. You got Helldivers 2, which is interesting. Peak was fun, like bloody climbing a hill. I mean, climbing a mountain. Like they made that fun. That's pretty cool. What's that other game where you're talking bin? Not talking bin. Repo. That was quite fun when I played that, and people love Lethal Company as well. They say that's a really good one. So I feel like on the indie scene, there's definitely innovation and new ideas.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on the AAA scene, it's bloody no innovation and a bag of arse.
The small to medium size people have the most that they can pull off because they don't have the same constraints. They have a smaller team. Yeah. They can afford to be more experimental. And they can potentially even have like a shorter throughput time because especially if they're not working on as huge of a title that's a AAA that has season passes that has to make at least 500 million to make
10 years of live service.
Yeah, that's just crack for the shareholders. And
George, what is your issue? See, leaving Goat. I'm not even going to get the comment up. But he always does this, leaves me things to pick up. Just look at.
Oh, whoa! I didn't know you guys had that.
No, we don't. Ban user, delete the comments. Tit. And I know what GC's thinking. Get rid of my account. Cut the head off the snake. 10 more snakes appear. And that might be the case, but they're going to keep getting banned. So, yeah, but you are right. The smaller the team, the more tight-knit. They're probably having a bit of a laugh and bounce along the way. They upload their game to Steam. They can distribute the money, in a fair manner. They can say, oh, we've done well. There's 6 of us. Let's split it 6 ways. We've got 10 grand each. Woo!
Yeah, and I admittedly have not been paying very much attention to the gaming scene at all. Like I'll only really play games when family is playing games right now. Okay. But part of it is just like time. Whenever I take time to play a video game, I'll say, okay, I'm gonna play for an hour, and I'll spend that hour thinking, I could be doing something else that's more that I need to do. And
I get you. I feel like
the older I get, the more that time preference shifts away from video games, and I definitely miss it. I do sometimes boot up Fortnite for a couple matches where I have like an hour. That's not enough time where I can do really anything else. Like creative or hanging out with people. So I'll just get knocked out in the top 80 if I'm lucky.
Fair enough. How much time have you got left? Because I did want to get some old Club Brick videos up, and we could just maybe save a few other questions for next time.
I could do 10 minutes. Maybe.
Oh, cool. Let's get some Club Brick stuff up then. Hey!
We can always do another one of these in like 4 months.
Sounds
Things should slow down for me then. 4 or 5 months.
I wouldn't mind, man. There's some good discussions. Like I said off stream, I wish we'd done another one sooner, but life's just busy, man, for a lot of people, including yourself. And
this one.
Oh, there's your main man, Boogie Crash Out. Have you seen the bit where Boogie goes, I begged you! I begged you! I begged you, Dan! I begged you!
I've only popped in on like the EFAP coverage from time to time. Just whenever the thumbnail looked really outrageous.
Actually, we should put this. We should put this on after this clip. You
and
hype,
after a certain point, a lot of the crash outs start to resemble one another.
Yeah. But you hype for this one, boss man.
Go for it.
And
You're gonna make
Godfather
my
and
mouth
Pulp
like move
Fiction.
like this, aren't
No,
you?
John,
Okay,
seriously,
we're
it's
playing
amazing.
it. We're playing it.
John,
You don't have to.
Okay.
It's playing. It's literally playing.
mute your mic then. So actually, no need to. Actually, it doesn't matter. Hello, everyone. Professor Goat here. And I must tell you all, I am a superior mock builder compared to all of you disgusting peasants. Hello,
True.
everyone. John here. Hello, everyone. Lara. Turn the music down. Turn it down.
All of us were just like, even you broke character, but John's obviously not the most pleased bloke about this, but maybe inside he's laughing a bit. Hopefully, he takes a
whenever you have if you ever do an interview with him again, you could always play it for him and get his genuine reaction.
I won't lie, Johnny's a sound bloke, and I do message him, and he has given me a lot of advice on the faith in the past. But getting him on the podcast originally in 2020 was difficult. Like, he was quite a busy man. I'm sure he's still a busy dude now. So I don't really know what we talk about.
I need to check in with him again sometime.
Maybe all three of us could do one day. I don't know. I think that bounced pretty well. We bounced pretty well off each other.
Now, Lara. Tonight at Macau, we're looking at we're doing the theme.
Look, my whole face is in it.
Tonight at Macau.
Brilliant mouth moving there. Don't know.
This is the premium production we enjoyed during the peak of the Club Rick era.
This is top quality editing here.
Now we're looking at we're doing the theme. We're doing a theme today. Let's have a look. Does it fit the theme? No. Oh, hello. I'm a boat on the channel. I'm a boat on here. I'm the reason for its success. But I ain't a boat on Macau. None of you know who I am yet, do you? Well, I'll be a boat soon. Don't you worry about that. Professor Goat here, and I must confess my love to John Brick. We shall be getting married in the summer.
You ended up actually we cut it off at that.
He laughed
You
at
ended it wisely. If we were you opened to that, we would have shut it off.
At least you laughed as well, bro.
Yeah.
And then the second one was funny, because I can't really be bothered to. Actually, no, we've skipped it when you were like, pause it there.
Oh, I'm a boat. And I must confess my love to John.
Pause it there.
We shall be getting married in the summer.
I wasn't fast enough.
Sure you weren't.
That was brilliant.
Yes.
Why don't you just tell the
I
audience?
don't want to destroy a human life.
Because I don't want to destroy someone's fucking life. Because I don't want to destroy somebody's life. Because I don't want to destroy somebody's life. Because I don't want to destroy somebody's life. Okay.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I'll
you just
destroy
said
mine
here,
all day. I'll destroy mine all day. I'll destroy mine all day. And my dad is dead. And my mom is dead. I'll talk about those pieces of shit till they fucking rot.
Yeah, but Chad and Desi aren't dead.
Still fucking alive.
And we're doing so good avoiding the swearing.
We made an agreement, and I'm not going to do that for internet clout. I'm not going to do that so the Keemstar can jerk off to it. No, thank you. We're not here.
Yes,
for the fucking audience.
Hold on this bit.
Look, get through this. We all go through this.
Hold on, this where he goes, I beg you.
You got this. Let me get through it. You got this, bro. Shut up. You're doing good. Shut the fuck up. I told you I couldn't talk about this. You knocked this out of the park. I begged you not to make me talk about this on the show. I begged you. You crushed it. I begged you, Dan. I begged you. You crushed it. You did very good tonight. I fucking begged you. You did. What's going on over there?
At a certain point, how much of it is like he's just disappeared into his own character?
George, stop making accounts over and over again. Just use DW Boy 14 for goodness sake. Oh, sorry, what did you say?
At a certain point, how much of this is like his genuine personality, and how much of it is like just him disappearing into his own gross character?
I think he said before that the real him is Twitch him, and then Boogie's who he wishes he was.
Sure, but
something weird like that, and then
but
he
if he never had access to the internet, he'd probably be a much more well-adjusted person. He might still have some psychopathic tendencies or something, but they wouldn't be able to manifest in the worst way across his entire personality.
I guess I know he was, well, he's still quite obese, but I know he was morbidly obese, to put it politely, beforehand, before the bypass surgery, before the gastric bypass surgery. And I feel like if he didn't have the safety net of YouTube to make videos to continue his lifestyle of being morbidly obese, maybe there's more chance that he would have lost the weight naturally. Maybe
I don't know. After a certain point, like, you've just sunken into this addiction, and those are very difficult to break.
I do get that, but I feel like if you have a comfortable job like YouTube, you can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's totally fair. But
yeah.
like going cold turkey in a situation like that would take years of adjustment.
Yeah, but you got to try and start with baby steps somewhere, haven't you?
No, I don't disagree.
People are going to be fat forever, but I mean, to be honest, a lot of people nowadays do carry a bit of weight. I mean, I might look like a lean guy, but I carry a bit of weight, but I mostly transitioned it into muscle now. But in the past, I've carried not a ridiculous amount of weight, but like, not been as lean as usual. But I feel like the most important thing is what you put into your body. However, if you're morbidly obese, there's a good chance you're putting some rubbish into your body. You can't be eating completely.
And proportions especially are very important. Like if you just select the right foods, your body will adjust itself very easily. Like baseline chicken, eggs, veggies, fruit. If you just do that, it's 10 times harder to gain weight when compared to like empty calories of like things that I love. Like popcorn isn't as bad, but especially chips, breads, some cheese if you do too much of it. Like because I'm any sort of sitting job where you're sedentary, it's kind of hard not to be at least a little bit overweight. Like I'm not overweight, but I was a lot more active when I worked in a factory, and I do miss just that regular. I do. It is kind of nice having like some physical thing that you need to do. It keeps you going.
I mean, I work a sit-down job, and to be honest, you are kind of right. When I think in my head, how many lean people are there? There's me, this dude who's massive, who used to take steroids, and he's managed to maintain his size even. But he openly says he avoided before, which I respect that if people are open about it. If you're a bodybuilder and that's what you got to do, you do what you got to do. Obviously, if you're competing in some competitive sport, then that's wrong to take steroids. But in bodybuilding, I'm pretty sure it's legal to take steroids.
Yeah, and to some extent, unless you have some sort of issue going on, it's a lot unless you're doing it for something very specific, it's far more respectable to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing it just for the sake of an aesthetic, how much is that aesthetic actually worth?
True. But what I was going to say is that there's a lot more overweight people and chubby people or fat people than lean people. So you are right, working desk job. Don't get me wrong, there are a fair few lean people. But I was going to bring some...
difficult to go to move around. Like, I'd love to be able to. like there's nowhere like in America. There's like in our current neighborhood, there is literally nowhere I can walk. So like just having the option of
Or
walking,
is it dangerous or is it a different reason?
not dangerous, but like the closest restaurants are 2 miles away, and the only way to get there is like three or four lane traffic with no sidewalks. So
That's annoying.
yeah, like it would be nice if I don't blame people for feeling essentially kind of bound to it's difficult to justify going out when the economic system we've created for the sake of efficiency has kind of made walking or biking places redundant.
Yeah.
Like it is more efficient to drive somewhere in terms of time, but it's not necessarily what's best for you. At least not all the time.
Thing is, though, it feels like, in suburban areas, there's just hardly any jobs, man. And I bet it's worse in the States for you. But in the UK, it's terrible. If you live in like a peaceful area, bro, you bloody travel for ages to get to a decent job. It's like, ugh.
I think the bigger thing is like, even if you have to drive like 20, 30 minutes to work, the fact that in your subdivision, you can't necessarily go anywhere. There's no restaurants you can walk within walking or biking distance. There's no, you can't go meet your mates for any reason because you'd have to drive there. Like that.
There's no
fact
Ubers
that,
because it's such a quiet place, and then there's no taxi. Well, if you get a taxi, if you call a taxi company, it's going to take like an hour to get there. By the way, in my situation, there are, even in my suburban area, there are like things to do, fortunately. But I do know a fair few people who live in areas where there's hardly anything to do. There's only like 2 pubs and a fish and chip shop and a convenience store.
Yeah, but like even like a fish and chip stop or a convenience store is a pretty good place to start. Like you can have some ritual where you walk a mile to the convenience store for a weekly treat or to grab groceries, and that gives you the excuse to go out and about. And yeah.
All right, George, you can keep this account, mate. Yeah, I won't ban it. I mean, I was tempted to ban it for a laugh, but no, fair enough. You've got that account on there. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I'm guessing in the States it's different because it's such a big place. But yeah, in the UK, even in like very tiny villages, there's usually like one convenience store and a pub. Like ridiculously tiny villages.
But you have a lot more of a settled country than the United States. And a lot of our growth has been in the middle of the car infrastructure taking root. Mm-hmm. So finding the balance of that will probably take a while. But
yeah, it's such a big place. Obviously, you guys have certain advantages, and
absolutely. Like in terms of sheer practicality, especially living in the country, like you kind of need you're probably going to need to drive quite a bit just to go into town. Though you're probably if you're rural, you're doing a bunch of other things to keep yourself active, both as a person and in the community, to kind of balance out the not being able to walk anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair. There's something else I was going to say as well about the States. Just can't remember off the top of my head. Oh yeah, you all are like built like brick shit houses, man. You're massive, but obviously, it's James Interfan on. I don't know what you're on about there, George. Again, he's bloody trying to spin something mad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what George is trying to say there. Hold on. No. I don't dislike fat people, George. I do not dislike fat people at all. I was just saying if Boogie had a job he'd be less comfortable with his YouTube career, and he might be forced to. Well, okay, if he didn't have a job that was just him talking to a camera, he might be more active and think, I've got to try and sort my life out to a degree. That's what I said, George. I never said that I disliked fat people. Not fat people, nasty, annoying. I don't know what you. If someone's nasty and annoying, that isn't like an inherent thing. That's just something that someone either they've had a bad life and they can't get over the things that have happened to them, or they've got issues in their head that they can't help being like nasty and annoying, or they're just a nasty, annoying person. They enjoy being annoying and nasty. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, again, I don't know what George is trying to get at here. But, yeah, you all are built massively, man. Like when my gaffer at work went to the States, he went to New York and he was like, yeah, everyone's built like a brick shit house. There's massive geezers there, like very broad geezers. Obviously, I feel like the UK is catching up to you when it comes to being strong. Not on average, but when you see some of the behemoths.
I think it depends where you go, probably. There's a lot more of that hustle and fitness culture in the United States from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So, like people not wanting to take charge of their life and trying to have that physically on them, that physical strength.
Yeah. The thing is, as well, it's like because there's a lot of obesity in the States. I don't know if it's got decreased or increased.
It's probably going to get worse.
The ones that choose to go to the gym, they can turn that fat into muscle. While in the UK, there's just so many skinny people, bro. It's crazy. Like, obviously, I know at my workplace, I said there's quite a few chubby people and fat people, but like they're not. There are quite a lot of really scrawny people as well. And, but obviously, if you look at some gym videos, bro, there's some English dudes now who are like bloody. Yeah, they're absolutely bloody giants, but they've definitely been taking the old, the old steroids. They've definitely, some of them, especially if they're not in strongman competitions, bro, and they're just like powerlifting in the gym for a laugh. Like they've definitely been on the juice at some point.
Yeah, I do think it's more important. Like for the average person, it makes more sense just to have an active lifestyle than anything else. Like even if you're not super muscular, you still want to be able to carry yourself with some strength, even if you wouldn't win any competitions for it.
Yeah. I mean, bro, the powerlifting scene is like, well, I'll talk about it in a second, but yeah, Boogie faking his illness, that was horrible. Yeah, that was awful. Bro, the powerlifting scene is mad. Like, I know this geezer who's 62 kg and he bench pressed 90 kg, and I thought, goodness gracious, that is very impressive, man. And then
you can't take the impressiveness of it away from him.
Yeah. But then I said to him, why don't you compete in powerlifting? Because he did this naturally. He had a creatine, but that is legal in powerlifting. It's a natural supplement. But the record for the weight class of, I don't know, 62 kg weight bench press record, I think it's something like 135 kg on the bench.
What?
Wait. Just looking at it briefly. So he benched 90 kg, which is hella impressive, but the record is 145 kg for a 62 kg man. That's well over double your body weight. That's like madness. So, and he's like, he could try and compete in it, but there's such a bloody discrepancy. There's so many levels to it, it's going to be difficult. And I mean, I'm like 88.5 kg, so my division will be 90 kg. And bro, the people, the 90 kg bench press, I know there's more exercises than bench press, but the 90 kg bench press record, bro, is something like bloody 280 kg. And I think even if I was juiced out of my mind, I doubt I'd get to 280 kg, on the bench. If I was juiced out of my mind, maybe and I work ridiculously hard and focused all man. And I'm quite my arms are quite long.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. George is going to bloody, that looked bad then for a second. My arms are quite long. So, well, you can't tell from the bloody, from the camera there.
Yeah.
It's so, it'd just be, I reckon I'd probably get 210 kg if I just have to do it all the time and took steads. But I don't want to take steads, bro, because it's your balls, your brains, and your heart it ruins.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do you reckon you'll ever start going to the gym or getting
I
interested?
mean, it's not impossible. Like, I'd rather. Honestly, I feel like working in a factory just kept just having to lift things, prep things regularly for hours at a time at a daily basis. That's a pretty good workout, and it works out your whole body. The one risk of like the bench press and stuff is that you're only exercising one part of your body.
True.
And like I like taking walks. Like that's my preferred way to take active, but I do need to probably do things to take care of my top half more, especially since I'm not working in like physical labor anymore. I would consider it. It's not my preferred. It's not my go-to way to stay healthy.
Fair enough. James definitely hasn't had used Stead's wink. He was like Jimmy from South Park. Timmy. Well, people have said I'm on Steads, but bro, if I'm on Steads, I haven't done a good job at all. Like the most I've done is 92.5 kg 4 times, which is pretty good, but like it's not anything special. That's like what I think on that day I was at 88.5 kg on that day. That's like what bloody 4 kg above my body weight 4 times. I mean, it's all right, but you know, it's not like
I will need to run in a minute or two.
Oh yeah, we can wrap it up nicely in a sec then.
Right.
Caleb, thanks so much for coming on. Anything you want to say before we go?
Not really, but I do hope we can do this again sometime. It's good just to chat.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, all we got to say for today then, everyone. All the best. God bless.
Take care.